What's going on, guys? Just wanted to make a quick video regarding the 25 round magazine for the M&P 1522, which is the 22 round 22 caliber AR platform that M&P makes. First and foremost, I love the gun. The gun's fantastic. It's one of my favorite. I shoot it quite often at rimfire matches, at PCC matches, action steel, etc. I shoot it out here in Central Florida. I just got done shooting. I'm still shooting attire, and I apologize for the decor. I'm at a guest bedroom at a relative's house after a day of shooting. Gonna have a little bit of dinner. But I wanted to make this video before I forget, and then the week gets away from me, and I never make the video. I've had a lot of problems with the mags, as have shooting buddies of mine and fellow shooters at the range. Took me about 8 or 9 months or so to figure out what the problem might have been. Finally got it down to a major understanding. So I just hope this helps everybody out collectively to get past the headache. That being said, some of the problems we have with this mag. My gun shoots great when the mags are shooting great. I have no problem with the gun itself. Never really have. Gun shoots good as long as I keep it clean and I use, preferred ammo that I like for it. I shoot CCI Tactical 22, which is the blue box. I buy them in counts of 300. It shoots well in my M&P AR-15. It shoots great in my Glock 22, the 44 model, 22 caliber Glock pistol, and my SIG. No problems with that ammo, so that's what I use, if anybody was curious. Problems with the mag. Okay, sometimes you'll have this mag in, provided the mag is loaded the right way. Should be up in the gun, and you pull the trigger, you just get a click. Tap, you rack, take another shot. Same thing, click. The problem is the rounds are, now this is obviously an empty mag. Let's say the follower's down here, half loaded mag. The rounds are supposed to be sitting right up on top here. Very, very, very top. For the bolt to come forward, strip off a round, put it up into the feed ramp, and complete the process. We all know how guns work. Problem is, sometimes the follower is, let's just use it from here for example. Theoretically, if this was the round, that's where the round's supposed to be, right on top of there, like literally right there. But she's sitting where the orange is showing. She's sitting right around down here a little bit. So the round, whether there's 1 on top of the follower or 8 on top of the follower, it's not doing what it has to do because the follower's not getting pushed up all the way. So you basically have an empty area up here with no round. You could have 10 or 20 in the mag, but if they're not up at the top, it's the same as having an empty mag. Click, rack, charge, click, click, you're getting nothing. We all know that feeling. Okay, it's a couple of F-bombs, and it is what it is. How do you remedy that? One temporary fix. Actually, I'll start first by saying what the problem is. These rails on the left and right of the open gap, this rail and this rail, which is part of the magazine. I don't know if this is plastic, nylon, Delron, I'm not sure, but they eventually belly out a little bit. They warp out on both sides. When that happens, this, I'm going to call it a thumb button because my thumbs are on it and it's a button. So for the sake of this video, it's a thumb button. The rails push out against the inside of the thumb button on both sides. Okay, when that happens, it acts the same way a disc brake pad would in your car on your rotors. Same principle. Okay, it's creating drag. So it normally starts to drag right here down to about here. Right here is where the drag will happen. Because it's below the top, above the bottom, the weakest area is right around in here. That's where it bows out and presses up against in here and creates the drag, which will create all the rounds not being able to make it to the top, to get stripped off and enter the firing mechanism. Now, one temporary remedy that I found. Take the bottom of the mag out, little button here. We all know how to do it. This is a brand new mag, by the way. M&P just sent me 3 brand new ones to exchange the ones I sent back to them that were faulty. So you take this out, bring the follower down. Once you get this thumb button down to here, obviously there'll be no spring, everything will be out. It's just gonna go down. Take the thumb button out. Now you can use either a chamber flag or a thin Phillips screwdriver to go in here to help you pull this down to load rounds, or you have a speed loader, whatever aftermarket accessory. That's one remedy. Granted, there'll be nothing for the rails to press up against in because the thumb button will be out of the equation, but you'll still, because it did butterfly out or bow out, you still will have a cavity in here. And because of that cavity, the rounds, when they're in there, they're normally double stacked but very close to each other. When you have that belly out or that void or that cavity, they'll double stack even more. And what that does is it overloads that channel and causes basically a blockage. And the follower still can't get up to the top the correct way, which will give you the same problem you had from the get-go, where there's not a round up here or another round coming up after it to continue firing. So it's a remedy, but it's really not a remedy. It's a temporary fix if you're lucky enough that the rounds aren't really double stacking far apart in there and they're not starting to tumble over each other or yaw a little bit. It's a 50-50 chance. Usually once you have that bind, even if you do that temporary fix, the mag still should get sent back to Smith & Wesson. They're pretty cool about it. I've sent them back twice already, and they just sent me a shipping label I print out. I throw the bad mags in a bag or a box, ship them over, and 3 weeks later they come back. So they've been pretty cool about it. And the gun is one of my favorite guns. I refuse to part with the gun. I love the gun. So that's one temporary fix. Now, also, you can tell the bowing out also on this back seam, the part that would face you if the gun's loaded. Okay, on this back seam, you'll see if you squeeze the mag, you'll see this seam like start to kind of like open and close a little bit because it's been pressured out so much. Now, even with a brand new mag, when these things are loaded, there is a naturally occurring pressure inside the mag for whatever design reason, whatever design characteristic. There is a continuous pressure inside the mag of the rounds double stacked against each other. They are pushing out. Now, what causes this is the biggest issue. Okay, we know what's causing the malfunction. We know what's causing the round not to be at the top, to get stripped off, etc., etc. Temporary remedy, which still is not even a remedy. Just send the mag back. Biggest issue: what causes it to get to this point? That was a $99,000 question, which we finally have an answer for. Bottom line is, you cannot leave these mags loaded for any lengthy amount of time. That means you do not load them the night before you go shooting. You do not load them at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning if you're shooting at 9. Do not leave these things loaded at all, ever, unless you're within 30 minutes of shooting, literally. Okay, because that pressure is just in there and it's slowly pushing out. Do not leave them loaded after you shoot a match. You get done, everybody says goodbye, everybody gives each other a fist bump. Have a good day, great shooting with you. You get back in your car, you either throw them in your canvas carry bag or you throw them in your range bag. They sit there forever, and you get home, you forget about them, and they stay loaded for 2-3 days, 2-3 weeks, whatever have you. And you're back to the original problem that causes this issue. So do not leave these mags loaded. I don't care if it's 3 rounds, 5 rounds, or 25 rounds. Do not leave them loaded for any lengthy amount of time, ever. Half hour max. I'm dead serious. Keep it at that, and you should be okay. Part 2 of that rule: do not expose these to any extra heat. That means no sunlight. Do not keep them in your trunk if possible. Keep them in your range bag or an ammo bag in your climate-controlled cockpit of your car. Do not keep them in the heat. Do not keep them in the sunlight at the match, at the stage that you're at. Do not keep them in your range bag and your range bag in the sun, because it's the same thing. Just because it's in a canvas bag, we're in Central Florida. It's been 98, 99 degrees out here the last couple of weeks with probably 80% humidity. We're dying. But the sun is strong. So do not keep them in the heat where they're going to get hot, because the plastic or whatever this material is, I'm not an engineer, but whatever this is made out of, is going to get soft on some molecular level. And put 25 rounds in there of hot brass that's heating up with the sun also, it's going to make the job that much easier for it to belly out and bow out the mags. Do not keep your gun in the sun or in any type of direct heat prior to putting the mag in. You leave your gun on a gun rack and it's cooking in the sun. You're waiting for your turn. It might be 15-20 minutes before you shoot. Your gun is hot. The lower might be hot, the gun itself. You put a mag in, some of that heat's going to get transferred to the mag or transferred to the brass that's inside the mag, and you're still doing the same thing. You're softening things up that much more to belly out, and that's going to cause you an issue. So I hope this video helped everybody out. This is from personal experience that I learned. Again, I do love the gun. It's one of my favorite. Just the mags, I'm not even going to say a design flaw. It's more of a design characteristic that you just need to be aware of. And if you follow these simple steps with these particular mags, you should have no problem. Routinely inspect them. Just make sure that it's nothing binding. You should be okay. But if you start seeing that, send it back, because you will have a really horrible day at the range. Again, I hope this helped everybody out. And safe shooting, have fun shooting, and Second Amendment all the way. Second Amendment every day. Take care.